Hey, it turns out, you know how they said that Israel wanted to get rid of all the Palestinians so they could take over Gaza? Well, it turns out that's what they're doing. Israel officials said in talks with the Congo, others on taking, so they're trying to get the Congo to take Palestinians.
Well, they have a previous relationship from deporting Africans. That they do from Rwanda.
Really?
Yes. In fact, the thing of, I can't remember how long ago it was, but Israel deported all these people back to Rwanda, and then other countries were trying to do the same thing because Israel did it.
No
They're
kidding.
a real trendsetter and stuff like that.
So they're just sending Palestinians to the Congo. And what is wrong with being forcibly relocated to the Congo? Name one thing. Name one thing that's wrong with that.
Ethnic cleansing?
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
I'll take ethnic cleansing for 100, Jimmy.
Also, was the Congo like, yeah, send them all here? Why? Like, why? It's like suspicious that the Congo would want that.
There must be some kind of a deal. The Times of Israel. This isn't the Jimmy Dore show reporting. This is the Times of Israel Hebrew sister site Zeman Yisrael reports that Israeli officials have held clandestine talks with the African nation of the Congo and several others for the potential acceptance of Gaza immigrants. Congo will be willing to take in migrants, and we're in talks with others. A senior source in the security cabinet tells Shalom Yerushalami. Yerushalami quotes intelligence minister Gila Gamaliel saying at the Knesset yesterday, quote, "At the end of the war, Hamas rule will collapse. There are no municipal authorities. The civilian population will be entirely dependent on humanitarian aid. There will be no work, and 60% of Gaza's agricultural land will become a security buffer zone."
What does that mean? They'll have raves on it?
And by the way, who's exactly responsible for all that? Shouldn't they be ashamed of themselves for saying that?
There'll be no work. What about getting all that precious natural gas?
But
what
it's
about
like
the job creating fossil fuels?
It's like they just say that like a true sociopath would say this without any conscience whatsoever.
It's not for you. It's for other people. The IDF didn't censor this for you to see.
Yeah, that's right.
This was from an Israeli. Always go to an Israeli source because they just openly say what they're doing.
That's what they're saying. And it's like kicking someone in the face and saying, "Why'd you get blood on my shoes?" That's what this is. So I'm trying to figure out the psychology of the Zionists and the Israeli people who are for this, because there's Israeli people who aren't for this.
Americans are pussies. We can tell them whatever the hell we want. IDF like that. We're going to do what we got to do.
But if you tell people that they're the world's biggest victims from the moment they're born to till they're adults, that's how they react then. Well, I've got this coming and fuck everybody else.
That's why Roxane Gay didn't attribute her sources in her plagiarized things, because she's a victim. In fact, now, in light of this is really amazing. The bookend of now this Israel thing with the end of woke, all these groups try to turn into Israel. Trans wants to be Israel.
That's right.
I heard women...
They're committing a genocide against trans. Didn't you know that?
Women weren't on board with the bullshit of feminism. They'd go, oh, that's a internal misogyny.
Yes.
Self-hating Jew. A woman who hates herself. Everybody wants to be the fourth, fifth, and sixth rail of politics. There ain't room for everybody. You only got room for 1/3 rail.
So yesterday, Washington panned far-right ministers Bezalel Smotrich and Itamar. Bezalel Smotrich. Isn't that a character that Rick Moranis was trying to summon in Ghostbusters?
Yes, I believe it was. He fought Gozer.
So...
Bezalel Smotrich learned what pain was that day, I'll tell you.
And Itamar Ben-Gvir for advocating the resettlement of Palestine. So Washington panned them.
A panning?
A panning. That's got
a panning?
Ooh.
I don't know.
So, quote, this is what the State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller said. He said, quote, "This rhetoric is inflammatory and irresponsible. Someone get me an Advil. This rhetoric is inflammatory."
Not what they're actually doing to the actual people of actual Gaza.
How about the genocide?
Yeah, the genocide.
Matthew,
that's what I'm talking about.
How about the genocide? Is that any comment on that? Just this rhetoric, inflammatory.
Yeah, actually, it's way more responsible than America and Matthew Miller. because they're saying what they're going to do and doing it, and meanwhile America's trying to fake it. Yeah.
This is what they've been doing for 75 years.
Yeah, this is the children's table, America.
From the beginning, you go back to the UN resolutions for the right to return, and the Israelis, we have internal memos saying, let's not negotiate.
Yes.
We'll get a better deal if we just refuse, and eventually it'll blow over. And that's what they've done. They've just gradually taken land. There's literally a word in Hebrew that translates as establishing facts in the field. It's basically the equivalent of the English phrase, better to ask forgiveness than permission. That is the Israeli
Wait, there is a word
philosophy.
for that. Somebody said it on the show before. I'm forgetting what it is. There is a word for it.
Yes, I don't know what. I got kicked out of Hebrew school when I was 9, so I don't know what it is.
I like how he says, go ahead.
But they have just gradually been squeezing and this has been a very long-term plan. What you're witnessing now is the end game. What they are going to do once they have completely flattened Gaza is they are going to turn around and say, this is terrible what Hamas has done to these people. And then, we must rescue these people now. And the international community must come together to provide them with decent living conditions, free from Hamas, outside of Gaza, which is uninhabitable because of Hamas. That is going to be the spin.
So that's what the spin is. So the spin is,
where they're going.
Look, that you can't.
But when does Christ come back?
Yeah. Well, Jews are the Jesus bait out there.
I like how he says this rhetoric is inflammatory and irresponsible. I think it's more irresponsible to keep giving them the money to do this shit.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you say that?
My kid keeps smoking crack, and I give him crack money.
Yeah,
he's not being responsible with the crack money I gave him.
He's not being responsible. He's not being responsible with his rhetoric when he's smoking crack.
They behave like Hunter Biden.
So there it is. So this is the end game. That's exactly right. They've been saying they're going to do this forever, and here they are doing it. Because people who didn't want to do this, people who are actually rational and wanted to live like a good neighbor with the Palestinians and the other Arab nations around them in Israel, like Yitzhak Rabin, they killed them. Who killed them? People from the Likud party. Those types of people killed them. The people
giving away the land of Israel.
The people that Benjamin Netanyahu hangs around with and represents. Those were the people that killed the peacemakers in Israel. So now they're gone.
Do you know anything about Ehud Barak? Was he more liberal, and that's why his name's on Epstein Island, because he got blackmailed into not doing what? Right? He wasn't.
He was trying to get a 2-state solution legitimately.
Well, not no more. He wasn't after Epstein visits. Yeah.
No.
Come see us do a live stand-up show. We'll be in Venice, California, Palmdale, California, Omaha, Des Moines, Milwaukee, Lansing, Bend, Oregon, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, Boston, Massachusetts, and we're going to Europe. Do you live in Europe? We're going to be there. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets.